Tonight, we find ourselves standing at one of those rare crossroads in history, a moment when the headlines echo far beyond politics, when the choices of a few shape the fates of millions. It is day 257 of President Trump's second administration, and the nation sits in uneasy silence. Washington is still locked in a government shutdown, 3 days and counting, while halfway across the world, a fragile voice of hope has emerged from the ruins of war. Hamas has announced its willingness to release all Israeli hostages. After nearly 2 years of agony, prayers, and unrelenting grief, the world holds its breath. For almost 2 years, the word hostage has haunted the global conscience. Mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, lives suspended between fear and faith. Tens of thousands have perished in Gaza since the conflict erupted. Families have aged lifetimes waiting for a call, a name, a sign that someone they loved still breathes. Tonight, that nightmare flickers with a faint, trembling hope. Hamas says it will enter immediate negotiations. President Trump, in his statement this evening, said he believes they are ready for lasting peace. But as every student of history knows, peace in the Middle East never comes easily. It comes layered with conditions, mistrust, and heartbreak. This, analysts say, is what diplomats call a yes-but moment, a moment of promise held hostage by uncertainty. Yes, Hamas has agreed in principle, but what comes next? Which parts of the peace plan will they accept? Which will they resist? And above all, will the bombs stop long enough for peace to take root? It is, by all measures, a defining test for both Israel and the United States. If the path to negotiation opens, it will not be through speeches or statements. It will be through the quiet, painstaking labor of trust, the kind that diplomats like James Baker once spoke of when he said, "The souk is closed." In other words, enough talk. It's time to decide. For Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the pressure is enormous. Accepting this conditional yes could mean hope for hostages, but also political peril. Refusing it could mean condemning them, and perhaps the dream of peace itself. And for America, the so-called Trump peace plan now hangs in the balance. Is it truly Washington's vision, or the personal project of a president seeking legacy in a region that has broken so many before him? Back in Washington, a different kind of crisis deepens. The government remains shuttered. Federal workers face unpaid days, families tighten budgets, and confidence in leadership erodes with every passing hour. It's easy to see these stories, the chaos abroad, the dysfunction at home, as separate threads. But they are woven from the same fabric, a world hungry for stability and truth. Tonight, hundreds of thousands of Americans find themselves asking a simple question. Who is fighting for us? While Congress trades blame, the quiet suffering builds. The park ranger in Colorado, the single mother at the IRS, the veteran processing claims for his fellow soldiers, all waiting, uncertain whether their government still sees them. In the midst of this, Democrats have chosen to center their fight on health care, a moral, not just political issue. They argue that stripping health protections from working families is a betrayal of the people government was built to serve. Republicans, on the other hand, have framed the debate in stark, populist terms, claiming Democrats care more for immigrants than for citizens, more for government programs than for freedom. But beneath the noise and the slogans lies a deeper truth. The American people are tired of shouting matches that solve nothing, tired of being told to pick a side when what they really want is dignity, compassion, and some small proof that their leaders remember them. For those of us who have seen decades of American life, from the triumphs of the Civil Rights era to the heartbreak of 9/11, from the optimism of the space age to the divisions of today, this moment carries a familiar ache. We have been here before, when hope teeters on the edge of cynicism, when peace feels both near and impossibly far. And yet, history reminds us, every great reconciliation begins with a small act of faith. Perhaps that faith begins tonight, not just in Gaza, not just in Washington, but in the hearts of ordinary people who refuse to give up on decency. So as the cameras fade and the pundits prepare their takes, let's remember this. Behind every political headline are human lives. Mothers praying in darkness, workers wondering how to pay next month's rent, children trying to understand why adults fight the way they do. If this world is to heal, it will not be through victory, but through understanding. It will not come from shouting louder, but from listening longer. And perhaps, just perhaps, from finally realizing that peace, whether between nations or neighbors, is not something we wait for leaders to deliver. It's something we all must begin to live.